Cottonwood, to be held December 6, 2016. City Clerk, please take the roll.
Councilmember Allen?
Here.
Councilmember Althoff?
Here.
Councilmember Henry?
Here.
Councilmember Howdigy?
Here.
Councilmember Norman?
Here.
Vice Mayor Piper?
Here.
Mayor Elinsky.
Here. And before we go on, I just want to remind folks, if you have a cell phone, please silence it. Otherwise, we've all agreed to stare at you if it goes off. So to save yourself the embarrassment and shut them off now. Thanks. All right. And then would everyone please rise and join me in the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. So the next item on the agenda is a brief summary of current events by the Mayor and City Council, but I wanted to take just a minute before we start and invite the Council to give a little brief introduction to the members of the public. We have 2 new council members that are seated, and I thought it might be a good opportunity for everyone to introduce themselves to the public. So we're going to start with Ruben. Councilmember Howdigy.
I've been around here longer than dirt, so that's my whole resume right here. Did serve as mayor at one time, and am glad to have this second term, but I'm a local business owner, been here, raised my family here, and I've always said that Flagstaff was my hometown of birth. This is my hometown of choice. So I enjoy participating in the council and trying to move this community forward. Thank you.
Please.
Hi, good evening. My name is Tosca Henry, and I was just sworn in as a council member. I'm looking forward to serving the city, and I welcome any feedback on city items. You can contact me either via email or phone. All of the contact information is on the website. Thank you.
I'm Karen Pfeiffer. I've been vice mayor for 8 years, been on the council for 20-some years, somewhere 23 or 4, somewhere in there, and raised 7 children here in the valley through the school system here, 15 grandchildren and 6 great-grandchildren, and all of them have been through the schools here in Cottonwood too, which are excellent. And I also welcome any feedback or any suggestions, and my numbers are also on the website and in the phone books.
Great.
I'm Kyla Allen. I'm a new appointed member with the council. I've been here since July. Karen beat me. I've only got 6 kids, all grown and out of the house. I was with the city of Cottonwood for over 25 years, retired and couldn't stay retired, so came right back to work for the city, and hopefully I'll do some good, as well as the other council members. My personal phone number's posted, as is an email site for me. Any questions, we're always available.
Good evening, I'm Linda Norman. I just was reappointed on the council same time Kyla was. I had served 8 years prior and then been off the council for 3 years until I was reappointed. So I have been here since 1985, so I've seen a lot of growth, and I hope to see it grow, but in a good way. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Deb Aldhouse, newly elected city council, just sworn in last week, I think, because I missed the official swearing in, and I'm looking forward to serving the community. Very active in Cottonwood with veterans and with animals, so I look forward to serving. Thank you.
Thank you. So my name's Tim Elinsky. I'm going to be your mayor for the next 4 years. I had previously served on the council for 10 years, and prior to that I served on the Planning and Zoning Commission for 1 year. I've been campaigning for a year now. It's been an awfully long year, but we have finally arrived here to the mayor's seat, and I really appreciate all the support that I received from the community and from certain folks who really worked very hard to get me in this seat. And I won't name them by name in case I do a terrible job. I don't want people to hold them responsible for it, but I really do appreciate everyone's support. I just want to, well, I'll briefly say I'm born and raised here in Arizona, just as a little bit of background, personal background. Born and raised in Arizona. I grew up on the East Verde River, just north of Payson, so a real rural environment. That's where I grew up. And during my campaign, I really ran on four key issues, and I'll share those with you now. The first platform that I ran on was to engage the community. Second platform was to increase efficiency of government. My third priority was to prepare Cottonwood for a new economy. And my fourth priority was to promote and preserve our natural and historic resources in Cottonwood. So those are really the four priorities that I ran on. I did not make any campaign promises when I ran, which I think may have frustrated a lot of people. But the truth is, I've served for 10 years, been a public official for 10 years, so I know that there's nothing I could promise you that I didn't want to break any promises, essentially. So I know well that it takes a majority of council to get anything done in this community. So I don't want to guarantee or promise anything that I can't deliver on. So I certainly didn't make any promises when I campaigned, other than to work extremely hard on your behalf. And I think those of you that know me personally know that I am an extremely hard worker and I don't tire easily. So I certainly promise you that I'll work just as hard as I can for you. And really those four priorities of mine will be my guiding principles as I serve you as mayor. And I think that they resonated well in the community because I'm sitting here today. So one other thing I wanted to just bring up is that, like I said, I've been campaigning for a year, and I've been avoiding national politics and the discussion of national politics for a year, and really trying hard to not engage people when they ask, because really the number one question when you knock on someone's door is, who are you voting for? Or what party are you? And so I really talked my way around that topic a lot. And I just wanted to speak briefly about it because it's a little disturbing to me to see how, how vitriolic the campaign was this year, and I think everybody can agree, it doesn't matter what side of the fence you're on, which candidate you supported. It was certainly an ugly campaign. It was a difficult time to campaign for that reason, for local office. Essentially, we tend to hold public officials under a microscope, and so what concerns me is that we're taking the same microscope and we're pointing at our local elected officials, and I just don't think that we can use that same lens essentially to judge our local elected officials. This council here before you, I can't speak for everyone and all their reasons for wanting to serve, but I can guarantee you that we all are passionate about our community, and that's really what guides us day in, day out. So I just don't think it's fair to hold us to the same level of scrutiny that we do professional career politicians, and really to examine us with that same microscope that we would use to examine those career politicians. Because we certainly aren't Hillary Clintons, and we certainly aren't Donald Trump. So we're just common folk trying to do the best we can for our community. And the other thing that's really important to note is that this type of government here far and away outnumbers our Senate and the presidents that we elect. There are 90-some cities and towns in Arizona, all represented by governments like ours. And thousands of cities across America represented by governments like ours. And we are the ones that spend your money day in, day out. We're the ones that affect you most closely. And yet we spend all our time focused on who's going to be president of the United States. It just doesn't make any sense to me when we are the ones really that make the biggest impact in your lives. So I would just encourage everyone to remember that as we move forward with this new council. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't hold us accountable for our actions, because you certainly should, but definitely just keep in mind that we're common people trying to do the best we can to serve you. And I would be the first to admit that there are folks in this room tonight who are certainly much more capable, have more time, have more education than me, and would probably do a better job in this chair. But your name wasn't on the ballot, so you weren't a choice. And so here I am, and I'm just going to try to do the best and most honest job I can to serve you. And one other thing I want to mention is that we really have to work hard to inspire others to serve. There's truly, after this election especially, there's no reason why anyone would want to get involved in politics. Please keep that in mind. We have our Cottonwood Youth Advisory Commission here tonight. These are the ones that will be leading this community in the future. And I don't mean to be morbid or anything, but if you look at the folks up here, a lot of us won't be around for another generation. So we need folks, younger folks, to be inspired, to get involved in local politics, to move all of our communities forward, across the nation. And that's really where it begins. So that's really all I wanted to say. I'll get off my soapbox now. But appreciate everyone being here. I do appreciate the support, and I hope to do the best I can on your behalf. I'm easy to get a hold of through the city's website. You can call me, set up an appointment if you'd like to meet. I'll always make myself available. So thanks again for being here. All right, moving on. So this is the brief summary of current events by Mayor, City Council, and City Manager. During this part of the agenda, the public body does not propose, discuss, deliberate, or take any legal action on any matter brought up during this summary. So this is the opportunity for council to share with us what you've done in the last couple of weeks and what you've got coming up on your calendar that you'd like to share with the public. So we started with Councilmember Hodeggy, so we're going to start with Councilmember Althouse.
I've served lunch to veterans the last two Sundays at the VFW Post 7400, and I'm working with the Modified Motorcycle Association of the Verde Valley District to set up a bike night, which will be held the 16th, Friday the 16th of December at Adriana's Mexican Restaurant, right down the road.
And it benefits?
That doesn't. That's,
it doesn't? Okay.
That's the other
Okay.
event, yeah.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Can't even think what I've been doing. Been busy, but I can't think what. For one thing, I chair the VVTPO, which is the Verde Valley Transportation Public Authority. It's a meeting where the different entities here in the Verde Valley meet and discuss the roads and the transportation and different events that are going on. Actually, Morgan Scott represents Cottonwood at that meeting. But anyway, we had one of those meetings last week. So, and other than that, being at the chamber, helping there when I can,
Great.
keep me busy.
Also, Councilmember Norman and Councilmember Pfeiffer and our new mayor, we were all in the Christmas
Right.
parade, which was a blast because it's my first time. I think you've been in it before, probably. Everybody else has. I was the newbie. It was a blast losing your voice after about a half a mile.
And the big grand opening?
And we'll go to that when it happens, when the real one happens. But it was a lot of fun, and I know a lot of the youth sitting in the audience today probably participated as well. So we hope you're there next year too.
Great.
I'm on the steering committee for MatForce and have been since the inception. I work at the Cottonwood Chamber of Commerce. We were on the float for the parade. It was nice to have little people on our float again. Tim's got 2 children, and I kidnapped one of my great-granddaughters, and she was on the float too. And I really see us going forward now. I'm really excited about our new council, and I'm looking forward to it.
This past Saturday, I did volunteer for the Cottonwood Christmas Parade. We had a great turnout. It was exciting to see the City Council float and the Chamber of Commerce. Also, I was the announcer at the first stop right at Cherry and Main Street and have done that for a couple of years. So next year, if you're looking for a spot to watch the parade and you don't mind some corny jokes, come on down and put up your chair near the corner of Cherry and Main Street. Also, the Christmas parade was followed by the Chocolate Walk, which is one of my favorite Old Town events. I am an attorney at the Ledbetter Law Firm here in Old Town, and we participate as an Old Town merchant. We make over 400 chocolates. Yes, we made them ourselves this year. Actually, one of our staff members did, but we all volunteered with the packaging and labeling and then passing those out, which was also another great community event. I'd like to invite anybody that would like to participate this weekend in the Burning Desire to Feed the Hungry food drive that is put on by the Chamber of Commerce in conjunction with Yavapai Broadcasting. I believe it starts this Friday at our local Cottonwood Safeway, I believe at 2?
Noon.
At noon. I think they'll go until about 5. I'll be down there on Saturday morning from about 10 to 2. And what this is a food drive to help feed our local hungry here at Christmas time. And we're trying to raise enough food for a pallet to donate to the Old Town Mission. So if you can, stop on by either Friday or Saturday, bring a non-perishable food item, cash donation, whatever you can, and we'd love to see you out there this Friday and Saturday. Thank you.
Great.
Well, speaking of the chocolate walk, my wife is a merchant downtown, and her staff, which is me, made the candies this weekend. So in case you stop by Betty's Attic, I had a big part in putting those in the package. So appreciate that. Other than that, just let me say that on a daily basis I run into people who invariably ask questions about the city and Cottonwood and where it's going and where it's been and such. So because of the nature of my business, I do meet a lot of people and try to keep in touch with what they're looking for out of the city, and how we can just make Cottonwood a better place to live in. So that's about it, Mr. Mayor.
Very good. Thank you. Briefly, just to let you know what I've been doing the last couple of weeks. Last week on Wednesday, I had lunch with Mayor Von Gossick over in Clarkdale, and we discussed a lot of issues of concern to both our communities, and in particular discussed the Verde Valley Wine and Music Festival, which Clarkdale hosts in May, and we're looking at hosting the Tilted Earth Festival here in May this year. So we discussed ways in which the two communities can collaborate on this event. Just so everyone knows, Clarkdale actually is just the host town for the event. They don't really have anything to do with the planning of it. Somebody else comes in and plans and produces that event for them. But just want to let everyone know that the leadership from both communities are interested in collaborating on this event, which would seem more productive in terms of getting people up here and making a bigger and better community event for the whole Verde Valley. So just planting a seed at this point, of course, but we'll discuss it more in the future. Last December 2nd, I attended the Verde Exchange meeting, which was a pretty fancy meeting over at La Berge in Sedona. And basically, the Verde Exchange is a water offset pilot program. And there are some pretty key influential people that are taking the lead on this program. So I think at some point in the future, I'd like to have them come in and give a brief presentation to council on what the benefits of this program are. Last Sunday, I went to the 6th Street Urban Farmers Market, which is a new farmers market up on 6th Street. It's 411 South 6th Street. They're going to be open from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Saturdays and Sundays. They've been open for about 2 weeks. They really have a lot of great local produce there, and they're looking for more vendors, more produce vendors, and they're really just in their infancy right now, but they could use some community support. So I encourage everyone to get out there and support those folks. And I have met in the last couple of weeks with the Parks and Recreation Chair, our Library Commission Chair, met last night with the Youth Commission and Chairman Tillmans, met with the Planning and Zoning Chair this morning, and I'll meet with the Chair of the Airport Commission tomorrow, really in an effort to prepare them for our work session discussion next week on ways that we can increase communication between the chairs and increase public involvement as well in the chairs, in the commissions that serve the citizens. That's what I have been doing. What I will be doing next week is interviewing former Mayor Diane Jones. I'm going to do that tomorrow at 3:30, so that'll be fun. We'll be at Yavapai Broadcasting. You can view it on YouTube by going to Verde Valley TV, and if you have a television, which most people do, you can view it on Suddenlink Channel 2. And I don't know when. I'm sorry. I think they do it live, but I'm not exactly. Do you know, City Manager Bartosh?
No, it's recorded, and it's on Cable 1 Channel 56 and Suddenlink Channel 2.
Okay, thank you.
But on Channel 56, it is live, but then they also rerun it.
Okay, great. And then this Saturday, I'll be participating in the Shop with the Cop program, which will take place starting at the Public Safety Building and
it's like around 6.
Yeah, 6 a.m., which works out well for me. And so we head up to the airport, welcome Santa Claus, be flying in on a helicopter, and then drive everybody down to Walmart. So looking forward to that.
It's fun.
Yeah, looking forward to that. So that's it. City Manager, have you got anything, or staff?
Just a couple of things. Our first phase of the airport apron paving is going on this week. They're running a little more than a week behind, mostly due to weather, but they should have that down by the end of the week. Obviously, Santa's going to be busy this time of year, but we do have him stopping by the Recreation Center this Friday from 5 to 7. If somebody wants to go down and get their picture taken with Santa, he'll be available to do that. And the Toys for Tots event is Friday, December 16th at the Rec Center at 2:30, in case anybody wants to participate in that. And last but not least, we have our angel tree up at the Recreation Center that has tags on it for kids in the community that need somebody to help them with Christmas. And happily, those seem to be going very rapidly. So if you're interested in that, I'd suggest you get down there right away.
Okay.
So that's it.
Great.
Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, so moving on, next item on the agenda is call to the public. So this portion of the agenda is set aside for the public to address the council regarding an item that is not listed on the agenda for discussion. However, the council cannot engage in discussion regarding any item that's not officially listed on the agenda. So if there's anything burning on your mind, something you need to get off your chest, you can do that in 5 minutes before the council. And if there's anything that you're here to discuss that's on the agenda, of course, just wait your turn. When that agenda item comes up, I'll make a call to the public, and you can address the council at that time. So I have one gentleman that filled out a form. Anybody that would like to address the council at any point during the meeting, please, there's forms in the back. If you wouldn't mind just filling it out and handing it over to the end of the dais here, then we can make sure that your name is recorded for the record. But if there's nobody else who would like to address the council, we'll go ahead and call up Mr. Bob Williams. Please, sir, state your name and go ahead.
Yes, my name is Bob Williams. I'm a resident of the city of Cottonwood. And first of all, I'd like to really congratulate you, Mayor Tim, and our new council members on your election. We're looking forward to big things from you all in the future. We'll be looking forward to working with you.
Thank you.
I'm also a member of the Planning and Zoning Commission, but I'm here tonight to discuss an item that I have a personal interest in, as opposed to a member of the Planning and Zoning Commission. I've been a resident of if you'll bear with me, I made some few notes here. I'll be brief, but I've been a resident for the city of Cottonwood now for 12 years this stint. I was here in the mid-'80s for 4 years. I've been indirectly involved with the city off and on since the early 1970s, and have seen it grown from a small farming community, economically challenged, to a vibrant economic center for Verde Valley. And it's been real good growth. That's why we chose to move back here to retire 12 years ago. I applaud the city on what it's done to managing this growth and continuing to try to ensure that we have good, smart growth going forward, and to make our community a more desirable place to live and economically feasible, so that people can raise their families here and their kids, and they'll stay here and work, hopefully. But since 2007, we've been in a development slump and recession. But this is rapidly changing, as witnessed by new subdivisions and developments that are coming before the Planning and Zoning Commission and on to you for approval in some cases. I know our experienced staff, and I commend them. We've got excellent staff. Has assured us that we have abundant water supply and resources to handle this new development. But we live in a desert, and it's been a long drought period, and it's forecast to go on for a number of years. We've done a lot of good things to manage it, and commend the staff and the city on their water management and delivery systems that they've done so far. But I'd like to see and have the city explore the possibility of looking to or adopting, or a similar thing, the city of Prescott. They have a very serious water problem over there, And we could have a big one over here if they in Prescott Valley are successful in developing their big pipeline for the Big Chino, which could help really drain the Verde River and affect us in the future. The Prescott model, as I understand it, and I'm not an expert on it, I'm not a water resources expert by any means, but I understand that they set up a city council and staff, they adopt an annual water budget every year for new development. And every new development that comes before the Planning and Zoning Commission in the city, and for permits or for approval, must determine their water needs going forward, and then that is, as they're approved or permitted, that is taken from the annual water allocation. Once that annual budget is met, then new development is stopped for the year. This may or may not work for us. I don't really know. I am for pro-growth, but I'm for very smart growth. And we really need to recognize where we live, and so we can continue to ensure that this is one of the greatest communities in the United States to live. And I really would like to encourage you to give some consideration in your retreats and everything else that you do. And I want to again thank you for your consideration and very best wishes on your new journey. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Okay, anybody else? Last chance. All right.
Mr. Mayor,
Sorry.
I'd just like to suggest that maybe I get Mr. Williams in touch with Tom Whitmer, our water resources
Certainly.
guru, so he can get a little more information on this. There's a tremendous amount of misinformation out there, and I think it's important, particularly a Planning and Zoning Commission member, be educated on what we're doing and what is available out there. So I'll be happy to contact you and get you set up.
Okay. And just so everyone is aware, I'm hoping to have a planning retreat, and certainly water will be a main discussion at the council. Discuss this will be a public meeting, and anyone's welcome to attend. So certainly, I'm hoping top of mind for everyone here on the council, but appreciate your comments. All right, next item is approval of the minutes from the regular meeting of October 18 and the regular meeting of November 15 and the special meeting of November 21.
Mr. Mayor, motion
Yes, sir.
to approve the minutes as presented for October 18th,
Second.
November 15th, November 21st of the year 2016 for each.
Okay?
I second.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So the minutes are approved. Thank you. Okay, so moving on to new business. And just so everyone's aware, comments regarding items listed on the agenda are limited to a 5-minute time period per speaker. So I'll ask if there's anyone from the public who would like to speak on any of these items that are on the agenda, and please try to keep your comments within 5 minutes, okay? So item 1 is request for monetary donation to the Old Town Mission for the One Person, One Night Homeless Emergency Housing Program. And as council may recall, and for those new members, we last year were approached by Joy Mosley and Cynthia Strom with their One Person, One Night project, and they requested some money to support that. The council graciously gave them $2,000, but tonight we're going to be having kind of another discussion about some changes that have occurred in their structure and someone who's taken the project over. So did you want me to go ahead and call them up?
Yeah,
Okay.
that would be fine.
Okay. So we have Kelly, and I'm really sorry, I forget your last name. Wilson. Okay. And Joy Mosley with us. So please come up, introduce yourselves, and give us a little bit of background information.
I am Joy Mosley, and I'm a community volunteer with the Verde Valley Homeless Coalition. Kelly.
I'm Kelly Wilson. I'm the general manager of the Old Town Mission.
And so we thank you very much, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Bartosh, council members, for an opportunity again to seek your support for the One Person, One Night cold weather shelter program. Last winter, with the tremendous help of Catholic Charities, we were able to initiate a cold weather shelter program that was a community effort and a success. Through the generous financial support of this council, our faith communities, citizens of this community, 65 individuals received shelter on some of our coldest nights, our homeless neighbors as well as visitors passing through who had no place to stay. So we are, still in need of that in our community, and so we are initiating again a request for financial support to maintain this very successful program. We have 3 motels who are offering rooms free of charge as well as reduced rates that allow us to house these individuals. Angie Lozano as well as the sanctuary participate in providing shelter for the one person, one night. And by one person, one night, we don't necessarily mean one night in a motel. We mean one person, that's you and I, can provide one night shelter for one of our homeless neighbors. And so Catholic Charities was unable to be our fiscal agent this year due to having lost the grants, or not lost the grants, but the grants expired that funded the positions that facilitated one person, one night last year. And so the board of the Old Town Mission has agreed to be our fiscal agent and to administer the program, collecting and dispersing funds as well as scheduling our neighbors without homes in shelter. I'll let Kelly then present what they are doing this year.
I'm going to try and stick to this letter because I have a very bad habit of veering off. So I've written it down. We're going to stick to it the best I can so we don't keep you here all night. So as you guys know, the Old Town Mission has been in the Verde Valley for over 20 years. And I know that because I volunteered back in 1997. So I've been in the Verde Valley for over 39 years. So they've been here helping the neighbors for over 20 years now. So we are honored and just blessed that we were able to facilitate this program that was really birthed out of a need that Joy and Cynthia saw. So I'm really glad that we're able to step in and facilitate that and help our neighbors. I'm writing to ask for your continued support of One Person Wood Night. Our goal is to provide a warm nighttime place for our homeless neighbors during the upcoming winter weather when the temperatures drop below 38 degrees. With your support, we are certain that we will be able to reach this goal. And this is where I'm going to kind of veer off a little bit because this was kind of surprising to me of what my perception of who we were going to be helping. And so it was completely changed when we first started. So we officially began housing on November 28th. That's the first day that we did it. Since that time, we've housed 12 individuals, and that's 17 complete nights. But what surprised me the most is I know who's homeless that comes into the mission every single day. And I was surprised that it was not those people that were asking for rooms. Those were the people that said, no, we don't need it because we are warm, we have a tent, we're dry. So it surprised me. It was a lot of elderly that were coming in that are actually living in their cars. So out of all of the people that we housed 5 people that were elderly. By elderly, they were over in their 70s. We also had one elderly lady that was passing through town with her daughter. We had an elderly veteran man that had PTSD. We had a young couple with a child. And so these are all kind of families and individuals that are more vulnerable, so it's harder to place them at places such as Angie's house or Verde Valley Sanctuary. The other one that surprised me the most is we've had a young girl volunteering at the mission for more than 2 weeks. She shows up every single day at 8 o'clock. The first day it dropped below 38 degrees, we realized that she lived in her car. And she's been volunteering with us for 2 weeks, and we had no idea. She's my age. She works a full-time job. She goes to work every single day from 4 o'clock till midnight. She goes to her car, finds a safe place to park, and then she goes to the mission at 9 o'clock in the morning. So those were the kind of people that we saw that we're housing. And so it just surprised me how many people that we really truly don't know who's homeless that are coming in to the buildings. Because we know who's homeless because they come in to take a shower. So these people were not aware. So this is a vulnerable clientele that we really can't place into a group setting because they have special needs. They're working with Spectrum with the PTSD. So I want to encourage you guys just to consider donating again to this program, because I think it's very vital and important. And I do think, according to a lot of surveys and studies, that when we're keeping people warm, they're not going to be going into the emergency room because of winter-related illnesses, because they're cold, and things of that nature. So offering shelter to those in need might just be the first step in helping them to get back on their feet again. So we appreciate your time and consideration for the one night, one person, and I hope that this will be the first year of many years to come that the Old Town Mission will be able to continue with this homeless situation here in the Verde Valley.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you for your consideration.
I appreciate that the Old Town Mission stepped up to be the partnering agent on this too, given the changes in Catholic Charities. So
we appreciate it. And one thing about the Old Town Mission is we're really about, food and clothing, but it's so much more. It's about building a relationship with our community. So that being in mind, I'm going to invite you guys to our Christmas celebration, which is this Saturday. That's a true picture of what the Old Town Mission is all about, because we don't spend any money on it. It's all the community. So it's just about building relationships with our community, and one person, one night is one more step of building a relationship with the neighbors that we have that are in need and helping them get off the streets permanently.
very good.
And the funds, I believe you were given one of our little flyers. The funds for one person, one night are kept separate from the operating expenses of the Old Town Mission. So when you give a donation, if you should desire to do that personally, then you just write on your check, one person, one night, and that just will.
Thank you very much.
Question?
Certainly.
Question for you. Is there any particular amount you're looking for?
We were requesting $2,500, and I believe last year Cynthia mentioned it was $2,000 that was granted.
Thank you.
Excuse me. I had a question too, but can you tell how much money was left over from last year?
Right. Last year we collected $8,700, and at the end of 3 months we had $1,400 left. Again, just in the generosity of the local motels, the Pines. Last year the View, but they're not able to participate this year. The Little Daisy and the Verde Valley Inn. The Pine gives us 2 free rooms every day throughout the entire 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
That was surprising to me too, because we called them 4 days in a row, and they're like, "That's no problem." So
Yeah. No, it's a tremendous community effort to house our neighbors that are experiencing homelessness. I really appreciate everybody coming on board, and the motels and Angie's house is just really amazing. So I just wanted to verify the $2,500 you felt would be enough to get you through this season.
Well, you just don't know how cold it is, but I mean, it's a stretch. I mean, if as much as you'd like to to provide, we will put to use. But
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Any other members of council have questions for the?
I do.
For these
The
ones?
money that was left over, I assume it was kept in the account and will go into this year then?
Right. Catholic Charities kept it in their one person, one night account, and it was just recently transferred over to, and that would be the case if there are funds remaining, is to be able to have something to start, because we never just quite know when the cold weather is going to begin.
Right. And I think I brought it up last year that I felt like it's obviously extremely worthy goal and a project here in the community, but I also feel like it's the most expensive way to house those that experience homelessness. So I feel like it is a Band-Aid to a bigger problem, and we as a community really have to come together and help our neighbors in this situation. And I serve on the the shelters subcommittee of the Homeless Coalition. So we certainly need as much help as we could get from the community to get some other partners on board to meet with the shelter subcommittee and try to get some sort of permanent shelter that addresses this need in our community. So
Yes, I agree.
Are you aware of the Patriot House with Vets for Hire? It's my understanding that across the street from the rec center, Vets for Hire, they have some rooms built out. It's called the Patriot House, and they have some rooms built out that will help house veterans.
I wasn't personally aware of that, but I do know we have a couple people that come down that work with veterans groups, and they're in our cafeteria every day. So I definitely will look into the Patriot House, because I know Vets for Hire, and they do some other things, but I didn't know they had a...
I'm pretty sure.
They do. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm actually on their board, and I want to say they have 4 or 6 rooms.
That's what I was going to say.
But again, I think it's for exclusive use of vets. So.
Right, but you did mention that you had one veteran, so it's
Yeah.
just an option instead of a motel room if the Patriot House has a room available.
And that's kind of one added thing that we're trying to do, more time consuming on my part and Jill's part, but we're trying to interview people and trying to see if we can place them and get them somewhere that they need. So when we see it come through, are you a veteran? We know, well, have you contacted this person or a young family? Have you worked with Catholic Charities? Because you're in a vulnerable situation right now. They could bump you to the top of the list. So we're trying to encourage them to do a little bit in reviewing, investigating, to try and get them to the places that they need that can get them off the streets.
Certainly. Okay. Is there anybody from the public, that would like to address the council on this issue? No. Okay. Council, what's your pleasure?
Make a motion.
Certainly.
I move to authorize a $2,500 donation to the Old Town Mission to support the One Person, One Night program.
Second.
Okay, so just brief discussion. Last year, I think we pulled the money from council contingency. Is that correct? Is that something that can be done again this year? Okay, very good. All right, so we had a motion and I'm sorry?
We do have the money.
Yeah. Well, we have a council contingency, which year after year is about $15,000, and I don't frankly know what that fund is up to now, but we tend to nick away at it as the year goes on. And certainly we'll be having broader budget discussions here starting very soon, so for the upcoming budget. But okay, so we had a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Okay, so the motion passes. Thank you very much.
Thank you guys very much.
Thank you for your support.
Thank you.
Okay, next on the agenda is appointing members to the Youth Commission and establishing their terms of office, resolution number 2859. So, Mr. Allen, we all know who you are, but there may be folks in the audience that don't. So what I'd like to ask is that you come up and introduce yourself, your position, who you work for, and then take it from there.
Sounds good. Mr. Mayor, Council, first of all, those that have been seated, congratulations. My name is Hezekiah Allen. I'm with the Parks and Recreation Department. I'm a Recreation Services Supervisor, and I've worked with the Commission now for almost 11 years. So I can definitely attest to Mr. Linsky's statement that these individuals are the future. I've seen it over the past 11 years. I've seen them come back. One's a professor in Ireland. One's they've done great things. So these individuals are going to do the same. So is that good, Mr. Linsky?
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
So the application process for the Youth Commission, it's a one-part interview, one-part written application. Obviously, the application we try to keep as anonymous as possible. All these folks tend to know each other. It's a small community. We market by putting out press releases. We go to the high schools. We go to clubs. We go to the middle school. We put out announcements through the office of the principal at Mingus Union High School. We try to get as many children or kids, young adults, as possible to apply for the Youth Commission. This year we had 9 applicants. We had 7 open seats. We're coming to you a little late this year because we wanted to make sure that we gave every club the opportunity to hear us speak and hear the Youth Commission pitch. We were excited to have an individual by the name of Andrew, who was a member of the Youth Commission a couple years ago, who just graduated from ASU Honors Dorm with a degree in mechanical engineering. And we had him with us go around to the different clubs to pitch a Youth Commission. And so that was very exciting. He also had a dream to attend, I think, Stanford to get his master's in engineering, and he's going to be doing that. So it's very exciting.
Right.
Unfortunately, we have the adult representative who we're hoping to fill that seat after speaking with her a little further today. Her responsibilities with the county are going to interfere with that. So that's Shin Mayberry. The way that we're going to kind of work this is that Gunnar Tillman, who was the president last year, is going to come up and announce the individuals that are looking to be reseated. Those individuals will come up and address the council, explain why they feel they're going to be advantageous to serve on the commission another year, and then after that, we'll announce those that are looking to be seated out of the applicant pool. So, Mr. Tillman?
Mayor and council, and congratulations on your positions. And I just wanted to say I'm Gunnar Tillmans, and I'm the previous president of the Cottonwood Youth Advisory Commission. And I'm here to say the staff and the Cottonwood Youth Advisory Commission respectfully request the council reappoint for the 2016-2017 term the following incumbent youth commission members, starting with Rachel Valentine. She is not here today. And I'm also guessing John Valentine, her brother, and then myself. So I just wanted to say a few words about the Cottonwood Youth Advisory Commission. I joined, I was told by the previous mayor, Diane Jones, and I seen it as an opportunity to kind of, learn how politics work, and it was, I wanted to kind of have fun with it, and as I joined, I went in as an alternate, and I attended all the events, and I really kind of got a love for serving the community, mainly because you just get a good feeling, just a good feeling inside, and and I just have been doing it ever since, and so it means a lot to me, and yeah. And so we will have Krista Earl.
Mr. Mayor and Council,
Yes.
I'd like to personally congratulate you all on your seats on the Council.
Thank you.
I'm Krista Earl. I've been on this commission for 5 years now. I was born in Cottonwood, and so I have a real passion for serving in Cottonwood. I do all of the events from the Youth Commission, and I have just a passion for serving in the community. I love volunteering. I love the gratitude that everyone gives you once you serve them. Everyone in this community is so grateful, and it makes you really happy to just serve in the community. And so I would love to be able to serve on this commission another year. This is my last year. I'm a senior this year. And I just love what I do. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you.
Now we will have, those are the seats that will be reinstated.
Okay.
And so now the seats that Dallin Gordon, he will be reinstated this year.
Okay.
Come on up.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. My name is Dallin Gordon. I was called onto the commission last year as a freshman. I learned about it from my cousin, Keely Gordon. She was a previous member of the commission, and I wasn't really sure what to expect, but after serving for a year, I've grown to further love service and being a part of the community, and I would love to be able to stay and continue serving this community. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you, Dal. All right, and then the staff and the commission are also requesting to seat the following new applicants to fill the open positions. Sabahat Ali, I hope I said that right.
Come on up and say
Thank you.
Mayor, Council, and congratulations for your seat. I'm Sabahat Ali, and my biggest introduction is that I'm an exchange student from Pakistan. It's my 4th month here. So when I came here, I knew nothing about the community, and that's why I wanted to know everything. And that's why I joined this commission, and it's really helping me to be involved in the community, to know about the country, and to serve my host community, and to take these ideas back to my country and serve there. Thank you so much.
Very good. Thank you.
And we will also have Noemi Cervantes.
Hello.
Hello, Mr. Mayor, City Council. My name is Lady Cervantes, and I would like to have a place in CYAC because I have actually been in Cottonwood for around 10 years now, and I've always loved doing community work, and even as a little kid, I've always helped around with our church, especially because we do a lot of events with the community, and I love just being able to make other people smile and feel better about themselves and find something that they could do with their lives, just making them feel better. That's my thing. And I've been wanting to do some changes in Cottonwood for a while now because I've been seeing some things that are really great, but I feel like we need more things that involve the youth, more events, because I feel like we don't have as many anymore, and I kind of want the youth to be more involved in Cottonwood, see that it is a great town, and there are many things to do here. So thank you.
Thank you.
We will have, and I deeply apologize because I know I'm going to mispronounce it, Ruben Koyatsi.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Ruben Koyansi, and I'd really like to have a spot on the CYC because before this, I'm in my freshman year now. I'm attending Mingishin High School. I was in the Junior Honor Society at Cottonwood Middle School, and I really enjoyed the fact that I was able to make a difference in my community and help because it felt like it made me a better person. Sorry. And I just really enjoy that feeling, and I'm hoping that I could continue it with the CYC and to continue to grow and keep an open mind and just to become a better person overall. And thank you for letting me have my time to talk.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hannah DeVore.
Mayor and council members, thank you for having us here tonight. Again, my name is Hannah DeVore, and I heard about the CYAC at school when a few members came to talk to our class, and instantly I was intrigued and hopeful that I could become a part of this great organization and help out my community. And I've lived in Cottonwood for over 11 years now, and I really believe that this is a great town, and I love living here, and I'm just really excited and grateful for this opportunity to help in our community and make it better in any way that I can. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sophia Rocha.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. My name is Sophia Rocha. I am a junior at Mingus Union High School, and I have lived in the Sedona and Cottonwood area my whole entire life, and I joined CYAC because I like to make people's voices heard. Throughout my whole entire life, since I was just around 8 years old, I had the habit of speaking for other people instead of speaking for myself, but I would also, throughout time, began speaking for myself, and I would join a bunch of different commissions and clubs to get people's voices heard. And that is what I plan to do during this term.
Thank you.
Sarah Sexton.
Mr. Mayor, council members, thank you for having us, and congratulations to I'm gonna make this taller. All of you on your new positions and those of you who have been here for a while staying. Throughout high school, I'm a senior this year, and throughout high school, I've taken the time and the opportunity to get involved in a lot of clubs and play sports and help out in the high school. But when they came into my class and they started talking about the Cottonwood Youth Advisory Commission and the opportunities that we have, I saw it as an opportunity to reach out to the community, which is something that a lot of young adults don't have. They have the opportunity to touch the lives of kids they go to school with, but they don't have the opportunity to touch the lives of the people in their community. And so that's why I took the opportunity to apply and was very grateful when I was given the chance to have such an opportunity. And I just want to thank you all for taking your time to hear us and to allow us to serve our community in this way. Thank you.
Thank you.
Tiffany Martinez.
Mr. Mayor, Council, I'm Tiffany Martinez, and I really wanted a spot on the council or with the commission because all my life and from middle school I was in clubs doing community service and helping people, and it was just such a great joy to myself to see what an impact it made on everyone else's lives. So then when the commission came into my classroom and spoke and said what they did, I just felt like this is where I belonged, and these were the people that I should be with because they're making such a great impact. And all my life I've always wanted to make the world a better place, and I figured what better way than to start with your community. So thank you.
Thank you.
And Josh Wheeler.
Mr. Mayor, Council, good evening. I'm Josh Wheeler. I'm a senior from Mingus, and I joined the council because I love people. I love working with people. I love talking to people, meeting people, making people smile, and helping people. And that's why I wanted to join the CYAC, because I know that we get to do many community service events that get to actually help people and get to meet people and make connections. And that's why I want to be on the committee.
Thank you.
I just wanted to say that getting to know this commission, that I've been on the council for 2 years, and I feel this commission has something special. I feel that every single member wants to truly make the community a better place, and I think we'll do great things.
Very good. Thanks to all of you.
Mr. Mayor, Council, they were all really, really well spoken, especially for some freshmen. Nice job, guys. Their motto is "Dream Big." 2 years ago, I believe it was 2 years ago, they won the Governor's Youth Award. Our competition was Delta. So this group has done great things over the years, and so we would at this time request your authorization to reseat members and seat the applicants requested.
So in terms of the adult representative not being able to seat Jen Mayberry, are there efforts now to recruit another adult representative, and how should we handle that?
At this point, we'll probably have to go out and seek some applicants to fill that position and come back to council.
Okay.
We really feel that's an important role because it brings a different perspective to the commission. So.
Okay, very good. Council, what's your pleasure?
I'll make the motion. I move to approve resolution number 2859, appointing members to the Cottonwood Youth Advisory Commission.
Second.
Shall we, in that motion, remove the adult representative? So if you wouldn't mind just amending your motion to remove Jen Mayberry from that list.
I move to approve resolution number 2859 by removing the adult representative, Jen Mayberry, appointing all youth members to the Cottonwood Youth Advisory Commission.
Second.
Okay. Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, so the motion's approved. Thanks very much, all of you, for being here and
Good job.
for your service.
Excellent.
City Clerk, please read resolution number 2859.
Resolution number 2859, a resolution of the Mayor and City Council of the City of Cottonwood, Yavapai County, Arizona, appointing Youth Commission members and establishing their terms of office. Mr. Mayor.
Very good. This meeting is made a lot more dramatic by the music that accompanies it. Really warms your heart, right? Yeah. Okay, moving right along. So we have resolutions number 2860 and 2861, appointing members to the Cottonwood Airport Commission and establishing their terms of office. So, Mr. Scott, please approach the podium there, and same drill. We all know who you are, but some out there don't. So introduce yourself, who you work for, what you do.
Sounds good. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. Again, congratulations on the new seats, and welcome to everyone who's been here a while. My name is Morgan Scott. I'm the Development Services Manager. Today we're here to talk about 2 open seats on the Airport Commission. For those of you who may not know, the Airport Commission is an advisory body to the council. They will review any policy or act that comes through to the council, and they will make a recommendation to the council. There are 2 open seats. Currently, Chairman Jim Money's seat is open. Also, Commissioner Bill Wade's seat is open. So 2 open seats, and there are 4 applicants. Both Mr. Money and Mr. Wade applied, as well as Eric Bruner, who owns a helicopter tour company that bases out of the airport. And another applicant is Jim Money. Jim has a large experience background in the aviation industry, and I believe all four of them are here tonight and can possibly come up if the council would like to introduce themselves. The one recommendation we have as staff is one of these 2 positions has to reside within the city of Cottonwood per the current code around the Airport Commission. So the 2 applicants that reside within the city of Cottonwood are Jim Money and Jim Gray. So in order to comply with the current code, we would recommend that one of those 2 applicants be chosen. So I hope that makes sense. I know I was confused when I read it.
Just a correction on the 4th person, that would be James Gray, as opposed to Jim Money.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that for me?
Well, you have Bill Wade, Jim Money, who are current commission members, and then Mr. Scott mentioned Eric Bruner, and then the next person who's also applied is James Gray.
Okay.
Not Jim Money.
I think I said Jim Money twice.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Money
Okay,
twice.
I didn't pick up on that. Okay, that's clear. Okay. Well, if you wouldn't mind, then Mr. Scott will have the applicants come up. I'll call them forward. And if you wouldn't mind just explaining to this council what it is that you think makes you fit to serve in this capacity. And we're just going to start the way it's listed in here in our packet with Bill Wade. So I'm going to call it Bill Wade, followed by Jim Money, Eric Bruner, followed by James Gray. So if you gentlemen wouldn't mind stepping forward and just briefly introduce yourselves and tell us what makes you fit to serve. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Bill Wade. I've served on the Airport Commission 1 term, just completed my first term on the commission. I'm a pilot. I fly out of Cottonwood about weekly on business throughout the Southwest. I use the aircraft for supporting my consulting business. I have a lot of experience with airports. I was on the Flagstaff Airport Commission for years, and I enjoy working with the different pilots and so forth and addressing some of the aircraft issues as far as the airport's concerned. The airport is a real economic driver, I think, in the community. Should be supported. I think we need to keep the airport afloat and expand some of the services that are available. As many of you know, we've had a lot of difficulties in the past with the FAA and some of the regulations and rules, and I think the city has addressed or in the process of addressing. And I would like to continue on the commission.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next, Mr. Money.
Good evening, Mayor Alinsky and esteemed council members. Congratulations. I'm Jim Money, current chairman of the Airport Commission. I'm an original member of the commission, and I think I've been chairman for about 5 or 6 years, something like that. I am an active pilot. I have an airplane based at Cottonwood Airport, and we do have a lot of things going on at the commission, and I would like to continue serving the city of Cottonwood and Cottonwood Airport.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Mr. Bruner, if you wouldn't mind approaching.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Council. My name is Eric Bruner, owner of Sedona Air Tours. We're a family business that has recently moved to the Cottonwood Airport. I have to say to the Council and Mr. Mayor, we love it. We love the airport. Mr. Bartosh is a great gentleman to work with. Also Mr. Morgan Scott, and my pilots call it home. One thing I want to share is definitely want to see the airport grow. I want to see it grow in the right way. I've been at the Sedona Airport for over 25 years, been flying for over 25 years myself. We employ over 25 ground personnel. We have 3 full-time mechanics at our location here, and 9 pilots that all reside here in Cottonwood now. One thing that my knowledge base is Part 16 compliance issues with the airport, also Part 13, 121 operations, and 135 scheduled, unscheduled, since we are a 135 operator or air carrier. Those are some of my fortes that I've had to deal with as being a business owner and a pilot, a commercial pilot. And I just want to share that expertise that I possibly could better the airport. Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And then Mr. Gray.
Thank you all. I've been flying for 35 years about. I've flown out of 6 different airports over that period of time. And when I came to Cottonwood, I was impressed with the airport. One of the things that didn't impress me, though, was the involvement of the city with the airport. And I think you mentioned something about having a passion for what you do. And well, as these guys can well speak, we all have a passion for flying. Anyone that does it has a passion for it. I've never met anyone that didn't have a passion for it. But I think that passion could be turned into something good for the airport. Out of all these airports I've flown out of, very few of them have the pilots that are as friendly as they are here at Cottonwood. Yet all of those other airports, without exception, had more activity by the city participating in the airport, developing, business from out of town, people fly in and things like that. And so that's the reason I filled out the application, is I think you, all of us could do better and make the airport something that would be an attraction to people out of town. I know for a fact that the fuel prices, I see people come here and leave. You got them here with the fuel price, but if you could get people to stay, get involvement from the community, motels, restaurants, things like that, I think we can do better. That's why I applied.
Okay. Very good. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Well, the Airport Commission is something that's very important to me. I was involved in the formation of the Airport Commission and have followed it certainly more closely recently. And I really appreciate the folks that are currently serving, re-upping, and I appreciate everyone who applied, Mr. Bruner and Mr. Gray, in your passion and interest in the airport. And yes, you are very passionate people, very, very, very passionate. So, but I do appreciate the service you give to the city. So, Council, what is your pleasure here? Do you have any questions for any individual applicants or?
Certainly a very qualified group of individuals, and I know typically in the past we've said, if you're not chosen, please keep involved. You're not being rejected. We only have 2 spots to fill, so please keep that in mind.
Okay.
May I make a motion, Mr. Mayor?
Certainly.
I'd like to make a motion that we reappoint Mr. Bill Wade to the Airport Commission, and we insert his name in resolution number 2860.
Okay. So we have a motion.
Second.
And a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Any opposed? Okay. All right. Next. Yes.
I would like to make a motion, move to approve resolution number 2861, appointing Jim Money to the Airport Commission.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Are there any opposed? Okay, so that motion passes as well. Gentlemen, thank you to all of you for applying. I certainly would appreciate seeing your application again, and please don't lose contact with the Airport Commission. Okay, thanks. All right, City Clerk, please read resolutions number 2860 and 2861.
Resolution number 2860, a resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of Cottonwood, Arizona, appointing Bill Wade, a member of the Cottonwood Airport Commission, and establishing his term of office. Resolution number 2861, a resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of Cottonwood, Arizona, appointing Bill Money, a member of the Cottonwood Airport Commission, and establishing his term of office. Mr. Mayor.
Thank you.
Jim Money. Jim Money.
I'm sorry?
I said Bill Money, and it's Jim Money.
Oh, I see. Okay. All right, so moving along. Next item is acceptance of an Arizona Department of Public Safety Victims of Crime Act Victim Assistance Grant in the amount of $65,830 for the period of October 1, 2016 through September 30th, 2017 to provide a position to assist victims of crime and providing $16,458 in matching funds from the city.
Mayor Linsky, council members, congratulations to
Thank you.
New members on your election. I'm certainly not Chief Gazelle, as it states on your action form. Chief Gazelle was unable to make it tonight. He has a conflicting event at the same time as our council meeting. And I'll be brief as well.
If you wouldn't mind, Commander, just introducing yourself. And
Absolutely. I
thank
apologize. My name's Gary Eisengut, and I'm the Support Services Commander for Cottonwood Police Department. And so today we are asking for acceptance of a grant. It's a DPS grant. It's the Victims of Crime Act, or VOCA grant. We would be the first in the Verde Valley to have this position. It's going to be a tremendous asset to our department and certainly to the community. As officers, we tend to get to the crime scene, gather evidence, look for suspects, pursue those through the court system. And so there's times where the victims then don't get our full attention. I think this grant for this position will really allow us to concentrate on the victims themselves and really assist them. So this was brought forward to us by Detective Rep, and he and our volunteer Jack Benoit worked very hard on securing this grant, and I will turn it over to them. I don't know if you want to put these up, I'm assuming. Is there someone that can help us turn this on? 'Cause
that would not be me.
that would not be me either.
I would break it, so.
So I'm not sure how you're turning on projectors. But, they will go through their presentation and kind of explain this grant in a little bit more detail.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
While they're getting ready, congratulations to the new council members, mayor, city manager. My name's Jack Van Wine. I'm retired law enforcement, not from Arizona, but NAU graduate. Spent quite a few years in Oregon in the law enforcement profession. Now retired, and my wife and I moved back here to what we consider home after 30 years. And I've been spending, I'm starting my 8th year volunteering with the Criminal Investigations Division here at Cottonwood PD. Just because you take the badge off doesn't mean you leave law enforcement. So Detective Rep and I co-authored this grant. We're really excited about it. We are looking forward to your endorsement of it. One thing that Commander Eisinger pointed out, a lot of times in law enforcement as well as the community at large, we forget about the victims of crime. Okay, we focus on the perpetrator of the crime. Victims are often not neglected, but not helped as much as they can be. So one thing, it's very important, it's the crux of our presentation tonight and of this grant and of this service, is that victims in the state of Arizona are constitutionally guaranteed a Bill of Rights. And I have copies of those Bill of Rights if you're interested in them, or you can Google them. Everyone who is a victim of a crime has certain constitutional rights. We are hoping to get this position off the ground, get a victim assistant advocate to help guarantee those rights to each victim in the jurisdiction of the Cottonwood Police Department. With that, we're going to be kind of co-presenting Detective Rep.
Thank you.
I'm James Rep. I'm currently a detective with the Cottonwood Police Department. And this is kind of an overview of the VOCA grant, and what we want to do with it is to develop a victim assistance program. This program is to fill the deficiency that we have in Cottonwood and the Verde Valley of providing services for victims. Right now, currently, the only victim advocate in this area is with the Yavapai County Attorney's Office. And so anything that's a misdemeanor that doesn't make it to the county attorney's office, there's nobody really to provide advocacy for victims. Victims are often in the dark as far as cases that are moving through the Cottonwood City Court. There's no one point of contact at the Cottonwood Police Department for them. This program will help develop that, so that way there's somebody to guide the victim through the judicial process, advise them on court proceedings, help walk them through the court proceedings, sit with them during court proceedings, and also help them with stuff like completing victim compensation applications. So that's kind of an overview. There's a list on this slide that kind of shows some of the common crimes that we have victims suffering from.
Next, just very briefly, and I don't want to diminish the magnitude of the victim's feelings, but...
Sir, Mr. Van Wyck, if you wouldn't mind, please speaking into the microphone. Thank you very much.
I don't want to diminish the magnitude of victims' emotions by summarizing here, but typically victims, there is no standardized victim. All victims are emotionally traumatized in various ways. They can have a sense of insecurity, a sense of violation, being traumatized, a very real fear of being re-victimized. This has happened to me once. What's going to prevent it from happening to me again? So that gives you some idea of kind of a sample of what people feel. Again, we're talking about victims of all ages, from small children to elderly, quite elderly. I think that's not it. Okay. As you can see, we've had over 1,500 victim-related crimes in Cottonwood. Unfortunately, that's a very high number when you think about per capita. Over 1,500, we are expecting, and what we like to say, we're expecting to serve 1,400 victims in this fiscal year. Again, based on an inadequate victim assistance prior to this infusion of outside money. Which, by the way, the VOCA grant, the Victims of Crime Act, is a federal program. It's been in existence for a long, long time. A lot of money is pumped in from the feds to each state, and this year Arizona has received a substantial amount, and it is being administered by the Department of Public Safety.
And just to add on that real quick, the VOCA funds come from court fees, any fees associated to federal defendants, also forfeited federal bonds. That's where all the money comes from for the VOCA funds.
Okay.
So kind of touched on this in the beginning, expansion of service. We have an urgent need for expanding, just improving the fundamental victim services. Like I said, providing a point of contact at the police department where a victim can call. They can talk to the victim assistant about staying in touch with when cases are coming to trial so they can participate in the judicial process. That helps empower victims during these cases. Also, a lot of the times personal property is taken in as evidence by the police department. There'll be a point of contact at the police department for obtaining their personal property back or letting them know where their personal property is. Again, like I mentioned before, assisting with victim compensation funds, just anything a victim needs. Sometimes a victim just needs somebody to talk to and reassure them that they're not forgotten. And this person is going to be that foundation for the victim. And this requires some infusion from an outside source, and that's what the VOCA funds are for. And they're very strict on the funds are only to be used for direct victim services. So this person is going to be just directly in contact with the victims and providing assistance to the victims. And Cottonwood Police Department is also dedicated to committed to intensifying crime prevention. If we can assist victims through these processes, I think we'll have more people comfortable with coming forward to law enforcement, reporting crimes. It's going to develop a tighter relationship, community to the police department and the city. And also, you know, on crimes such as domestic violence, if we can get services to these victims, it's going to prevent them from being re-victimized by the suspect.
I'd like to add to something that Jim said. This is a continuum of services. We're talking about as a first responder, shoulder to shoulder to an investigating officer right after the commission of the crime or when the commission of the crime has been reported, all the way through the meeting immediate needs into adjudication, the judicial process, and finally, hopefully, sentencing of the perpetrator and resolution to the victim.
Very good.
So, just some of the benefits. As we've mentioned, victimization is long-lasting. It happens long after the crime, especially in a lot of crimes like domestic violence or sexual abuse. This is, you know, crimes that affect victims for years to come. By providing immediate advocacy or assistance to the victim, we can help begin the healing a lot sooner. Victims often feel isolated because right now there's nobody there that's just there for them. Officers and detectives, we're doing a ton of stuff when a crime is committed. We're collecting evidence, we're interviewing witnesses, suspects, victims, all kinds of stuff. Victims oftentimes, even though they're our priority, oftentimes they feel like they've been abandoned or ignored, and that's not purposeful, but we don't have the time to dedicate to them, which this person would. Victims have a limited contact with Cottonwood Police Department. A lot of the times our officers work odd hours. Victims will call and try to get information, but they're calling during the daytime, leaving messages with officers who work graveyards. So there's conflicting schedules, and it really can be frustrating for victims to get a hold of the people they want to get a hold of. Whereas if we have this victim assistant, there's one person that they can contact and get the answers that they need. Victims, right now, officers, when they're on a scene, sometimes the only contact they have with the victim is interviewing them and then issuing them victim's rights form, which lists victim services on there. Well, those change all the time. It's kind of cold and impersonable, and a lot of times the victims set it aside or forget where they put it or lose it or just don't have the mindset to make those phone calls. Whereas a person that can hold their hand through these processes and guide them through it will really make a huge difference. Basically, most of those we've already touched on. So.
No. Again, program goals and objectives. I think we don't want to beat the dead horse here. I think you can see the tremendous need that we need a single point of contact for victims. And again, this continuum that we keep talking about can last for weeks, months, in some cases, I suppose, even years, depending upon the judicial and adjudication process. We're talking about immediate needs, meeting immediate needs of the victim. That could be securing property, say in a domestic violence case, making sure that there is a safe place for the victim. In many cases, women and children are safe, they're fed, they can have access to immediate financial needs, which comes from other sources, as well as you have both compensation in this state for victims as well as restitution, court-ordered restitution. The Supreme Court of Arizona has created the Commission on Victims in Court, COVIC, and that is a form of court-ordered restitution to victims. Once again, you can imagine it's a bureaucracy. It involves a lot of paper. It involves a lot of advocacy. Again, we use that word often, but it's the root of what we're here for, is to help the victim come through the process of the paperwork. both in terms of there is compensation available through the Arizona Judicial Commission for certain types of things that requires an application, multiple pages of forms. Many times victims are not comfortable, they're not knowledgeable, they're not secure in filling out these forms. An advocate can be intimately familiar with these types of compensation forms as well as restitution forms, to be a clearinghouse, to literally transport the person to the necessary locations for those types of assistance.
This just talks more about what the assistant position will provide. We've kind of covered this in depth.
Sir, if you wouldn't mind speaking into the microphone.
Sorry.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
So this kind of covers more of what we've already just talked about the services that we're looking to provide with this position. One thing that we haven't mentioned that I'd like to add that's on the slide is being a liaison to all the other services. There's programs that this position can be a part of. There's Coordinated Community Response Team, CCRT, which a lot of other agencies within Yavapai County are involved in. Yavapai Family Advocacy Center, Prescott Valley Police Department, Prescott Police Department. I've participated in it as much as I can, as much as my job allows. This person can be vital in that organization. Being a part of that helped me learn about VOCA and the funds that were available for this position, helped me learn about the need and how we can fill that need. And you go into those kind of organizations, you develop relationships, Verde Valley Sanctuary, YFAC, the hospitals, and through developing those relationships and partnerships, this victim assistant will be able to know what the newest, latest resources available in our community is and how to get the victims in touch with them right away.
Awareness of services, I think you're getting the idea here. We have services available locally. We have constitutionally guaranteed rights of victims in the state of Arizona. So that's what this is all about, having someone highly trained, highly specialized in knowing these resources or how to find these resources on behalf of the victim.
Now comes the important part and why we're here. So this is kind of the funding part of the presentation. Basically, we applied for this grant. The grant, VOCA, will provide, has approved $65,830. Of that money, that's salary and wages for the position. That's part of the fringe benefits. Equipment costs, which the two major ones are a new vehicle for this person to have. We thought it was important to have a newer vehicle, a decent vehicle that the advocate can drive victims to places like YFAC for forensic exams, forensic interviews, to court. There's lots of different ways that vehicle is going to be able to provide services to the victims. Also a computer, it's going to be very important for this position because we're going to have to keep a lot of data, a lot of information on our victims that we provide services for. And then other operating costs. Included in that is training. There's a wonderful program that's offered once a year in Flagstaff and once a year in Phoenix. It's a week-long advocate academy for victim advocates, which is, from what I've heard from other advocates in the Yavapai County, is an amazing training program. Also, they have an opportunity to build relationships with other services. On the other side of this program requires a 20% match. So we've worked on ours being $16,458. In that match, part of it is an in-kind match, which Mr. Van Wy is going to dedicate some of his volunteer time to help get this program off the ground, help develop ways to keep data organized, and that way we can maintain this grant properly. Also help develop a file system and everything, because this is a program that we've never had before, so we want to really get it off the ground. He's going to help with that. Office supplies, it's paper, pencils, pens, just basic stuff. Cell phone allowance, this is going to be an on-call position. If we have a serious domestic violence, we have a homicide in the middle of the night, this position is going to be something that detectives or officers can call this person out so we can start providing needs of the victims immediately. Printer maintenance and supplies, electricity for the office space. We have an office set aside for this position. We also have what we call a soft interview room that I've included in that. That's where we interview victims, children. It's not as cold and unfriendly as our normal interview room. And then we have internet costs, mobile internet, vehicle maintenance costs, fuel costs for the vehicle. And that's a total of $16,458. So the total grant budget for this is $82,288. Questions?
Thank you very much for your thorough presentation. It's exciting for Cottonwood to have this opportunity.
We think so.
Yeah, I know I certainly have a lot of questions, but I'm sure council members do as well. So are there any council members that have any questions?
I had a couple.
Sure, please go ahead.
So the paperwork said the project period was from October 2016 to September 30th of 2017, but it's also tied to the fiscal year. When would the project actually work? When would this advocate
Once it
hit
is
the ground?
ratified by you folks, if you so desire, we will be interviewing, and it's a cost reimbursement process, so we're really not losing grant money. Once we have the program up and running, we can start invoicing DPS VOCA funds by way of DPS. Does that answer your question, Oscar?
It does. So the numbers that we're looking at are for a 1-year period for this
That's
advocate.
correct.
Do you have information from the other communities that have this program about the prospects for longevity?
Detective Rep does.
Well, my communications with VOCA have been that there's a lot of money available. The grant, or the money that Arizona gets, has gone up drastically. I want to say, if I recall off the top of my head, previously it was $9 million, and I believe this year went up to $40 million, $42 million. So it's been increasing. Like I mentioned before, where we get the funds, where VOCA gets the funds is through the federal court system. Unless they reallocate that money to something else, I don't foresee it drying up anytime soon. Next year, this was the last year where they're doing 1-year grants. Next year, DPS is going to 3 to 5 year grants for this program.
Okay.
So,
And is the city eligible for a match waiver?
we did not apply for the match waiver this time, but there is a match waiver available that we could apply for.
We wanted to try to keep this as clean as possible for the first year in terms of matching funds. But yes, there is a process for waiver of match.
So as far as this year's concerned, excuse me, I didn't mean to interrupt. This 16,000 some odd is coming out of which pot?
It's, as you'll notice, and they're predominantly, a lot of them are soft costs. I mean, office electricity, printing costs, those kind of things. Probably the major piece of this is the match in the benefits. But I'll also remind the council who was here at the time and the new council that this was part of our budget discussion for this year, and this position was approved based on contingent upon getting grant funding to cover it. So this is not new to the budget. This was discussed and is included in there.
Okay.
So I'm not sure I answered Mr. Hardigan's question,
Yes,
but it
yes.
is budgeted.
That's
Okay.
right. Thank you.
And Councilmember Henry, did you have any other questions?
No, thank
No?
you.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Any other?
I'd also
Sir,
like to
go
point
ahead.
out, excuse
Please.
me, Commander, Detective, myself, Chief Gazelle, is highly involved in this and very, very, very supportive of this. He wants to make this a permanent position, but we have to get money to do that.
Right. Okay. Any other council members have questions?
No, you covered it.
Okay.
That was
Okay. So I had just a few questions, if you wouldn't mind answering them just briefly. Did you establish the budget then and just made the request to DPS for this? Okay. Okay, great. As far as that goes, I noticed that we have a new vehicle in the budget, and I don't mean to get like too far into the weeds with this whole thing, but it seems like the $35,000 that we're going to pay the person, it seems a little low to me for this type of work, and I would hate to see us have high turnover. I just wonder if there wouldn't be a way to offset. There must be a vehicle that we could use elsewhere, retire an old squad car or something to instead of putting that in and maybe boost the salary. And again,
let me address that if you don't mind. The 36,000 is only for 3/4.
Mr. Rodriguez, we all know who you are.
I'm sorry, I'm Mr. Rodriguez. I'm Rudy Rodriguez, the General Service Administrative Services General Manager, and I don't mean to interrupt, but because I put the budget together, I'm pretty familiar with a lot of this. The salary that is in here is only for 3/4 of the year.
Okay.
Because we go on by budget year, meaning that we're going to bring them in. And as a matter of fact, it's actually not bad because we're going to probably bring them in right around January, thereabouts. So it's actually going to be half. So it's still a bit of a savings for us. So we're in good shape there.
Okay.
The vehicle is going to be provided through the grant money.
Mhm.
So we're good to go there too.
Okay.
All of this was budgeted and it was well thought out when we put it together.
Okay, so then I guess I misunderstood. So the total salary isn't $35,000 a year. That just represents the 3/4 or half of the year.
As it turns out, it's going to be that way because of fiscal year versus calendar year and budget years.
Okay.
Again, we're not losing money.
Mhm.
We're simply not invoicing for costs.
I understand. It just seemed like a large part of the grant money was to go to a vehicle, which if the grant dries up, then we have a vehicle to maintain. And I just thought if there's any way to, delete that from the grant and put more of the money into something that's actually going to help the victims, that might be a better alternative. But I don't mean to dive too far into the weeds, and I think it's obviously, great for the community otherwise. So this is, as far as what kind of mechanism or what trigger is going to be in place to make sure that just any victim of a crime is automatically going to receive the service, or is it something that's elective, or is it?
No,
It's required.
every victim is a victim, as statutorily mandated and defined.
Okay, great.
A victim can refuse services,
That's right.
obviously, but
Okay.
every victim's going to be contacted by the advocate.
Okay, great. And the last question is how will we attract this employee?
We already have 12 applicants that
Okay.
we have made preliminary, some very talented people who
Great.
are very interested in this. Even though it is limited duration, it is soft money.
Mhm.
I don't think, other than finding someone who is currently a victim advocate, a lot of training is going to be involved, and a lot of training is required by VOCA requirements. Detective Rep and I have attended substantial training ourselves simply because we're part of the grant.
Right, okay.
I've already started forming an in-house, in-service training program. A lot of webinars are available. To answer your question, Mr. Mayor, training, very intensified training, so we can get this person equipped and ready to go.
Certainly, okay. Thank you. Council.
I was just going to say, I think it's a wonderful idea and to have in our community. I applaud you guys for getting the grant.
Thank you.
And I'd have to agree with that, and I know it was a lot of paperwork because I know how that works out.
We have
It's
a
an
lot more paperwork to
extensive
do.
amount of paperwork.
Federal
And
reporting is pretty amazing. But
kudos to you again for putting Cottonwood first on the list, for the first one being able to have this position in the Verde Valley.
we care about our victims.
All right.
That's because we're number one. Make a motion?
Yes, please.
I move to approve the acceptance of the Department of Public Safety, DPS Victims of Crime Act, VOCA VOCA grant.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Okay, so the motion passes. Thanks, gentlemen, for your presentation. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, moving right along, we have City Council 2017 Strategic Planning Retreat. And let me try to get there here. As the older council members know, and just for the benefit of the new council members, every year the City Council has historically met for I guess really just a one-day session. I think there was one year, since I've been on, it was a two-day session. But we meet to discuss our priorities for the year and just have a planning session. And we've done it every year since I've been on council, with the exception of last year. We didn't do a retreat, and I feel like it's very important, especially now that we have a couple of new council members. A new council entirely, essentially. That we do hold a planning retreat in order to discuss what our individual goals and objectives are for the upcoming year. So I did some homework and contacted three folks that do this for a living. They are professional facilitators that do these sort of planning exercises with boards, commissions, and executives, corporate executives, and whatnot. Two of the people that we contacted, they all responded. Two gave us proposals, which I believe are included in your packet. And another woman was unable to meet the time frame that we had in mind. But essentially, just a little bit of background. What I was hoping for this year, what I want to discuss with council and get some feedback from you, is really a two-day retreat. First day of which I would set up presentations, 10-minute presentations from a variety of community leaders and stakeholders and agencies here in Cottonwood and, of course, in the Upper Verde Valley. They would come in and give a brief presentation to council, probably a 7-minute presentation, 3 minutes for questions and answers, where they would tell us what their agency does for the community, what their challenges are for the upcoming year, and ways that they feel that council could help collaborate and meet some of our common goals. Okay, and then the second day would just be our planning session, where we would then take all that information that we received, sort of plug that in, digest it, and from that point make a plan for our upcoming year and see if there's some ways that we can kind of collaborate amongst the community. And I think by inviting these other outside agencies in, I think that we can, we all have common goals, objectives, common challenges. So if we can try to get everybody at the same table, essentially, to discuss them, I think we'd find and be surprised to discover a lot of the ways that we could collaborate and help really provide a better benefit to the public. So that was my brainstorm. Discuss it with two folks that do this for a living. The first was Jeannie Duncan, and I believe her resume and whatnot is attached in here. And the second was a gentleman, Patrick Ibarra, from the Mejorando Group. And they're both highly qualified. The gentleman, Patrick, his price tag for his services were quite high. Jeannie Duncan, I think, came in at $3,200 for a 2-day retreat. I see this as an investment in our council, and I see it paying dividends in the community. In the years past, just so everyone knows, we've done this essentially in-house. We only had one professional facilitator since I've been on council for the last 10 years. Holly Yeager facilitated a session for us, a one-day session in 2014, I believe. She charged just over $1,000, I think $1,015 is what she charged. If we go with Jeannie, we're looking at essentially paying $3,200, which is obviously more than what we've paid in the past. We could also do what we've done in years past and have the city manager facilitate this. I personally believe his plate's full, and I think there's great benefit in hiring somebody who does this for a living. And they know exactly how to lead a group, get everybody on board. We could do fun little group team building exercises and all of that stuff that we would enjoy so much. But anyway, that's my proposal. I wanted to get some feedback from council, and hopefully we can make a motion here and get this going. I would really like to do this toward the end of January.
So What was the price tag for the Mejorando group?
I believe it was 10,600.
Okay.
If that answers your question.
Yeah. Thank you.
And Mr. Ibarra was very, he's been a former city manager. He's, well, you've seen his proposal. It's impressive. And in speaking with him, I felt very confident that he would do a great job. But I think it's a little, in the former discussion, when Diane Jones, former mayor, brought it up, and she had recommended Holly Yeager. I think Holly Yeager gave it really a bargain basement price for the session that she gave us. But Diane Jones, through her research, showed that you typically pay about $6,000 for this. So I think at $3,200, it's a good investment, and I just am curious what the rest of the council feels.
Mayor, I have a question. If
Certainly.
I think it's important that the council does meet and have a strategic plan. I've reviewed the past years, the notes and the goals that were a result of past years' plans. I'd like to hear from the council members that were on council during the years where we did this retreat in-house versus with Holly Yeager, to hear thoughts on whether the cost, right now we're looking at $3,200 and $10,000, that cost benefit analysis, if that's there, in your opinion, those of you who have been here for those years.
Mm-hmm. So who was, well, it was myself and the vice mayor. I don't believe Ruben attended the session, yeah. Would you like to speak to it?
Our staff did an excellent job. So did Holly. But cost-wise, I tend to lean more to having a staff member do it. But that's just me. It worked out pretty good.
Okay. I was there. I personally felt like Holly did an excellent job.
She
I
does
think
a good job.
that she, especially if she came in from outside the community, so you knew she didn't have any ties, special interest necessarily. Not that, I mean, I know we're all professionals, but it just helped because it was a fresh perspective, and again, because it's what she did for a living. I think she just did a good job at
Another viewpoint. It didn't hurt. She was excellent. She really was. She'd be a good choice.
Well, unfortunately, she's moved out of state.
Oh.
Yeah, but Jeannie Duncan was recommended to me through another colleague. But again, I think it's I think it's a wise investment. I actually did the math on it. I'll share it with council. It's kind of interesting. Where did I put that? Little known fact: council gets a stipend, $500 a month for serving. Mayor gets $750 a month for serving. So based on $72 million budget, the community makes a 0.000625% investment in the leaders that spend all of your money. Okay, so if we were just to spend an extra $3,200, I feel like we would be better equipped to lead our community this coming year. My 2 cents.
I've got a question.
Yes.
If we did this on the 19th, that's a work day for me until about 10 o'clock. What time would we convene?
Probably 8, I would imagine.
It's a chamber breakfast day.
Okay.
So that's the proposal, I'm sorry, that's the proposal is January 19th?
In speaking with Jeannie Duncan, she had the 19th and the 21st available. And it could be, that's a Thursday and a Saturday. She was going to look at her calendar and see if she could free up the 20th, so that would be a Saturday session.
It's also a holiday week. Monday's a holiday for most people.
The week before, yeah.
Yeah, well, no, January 16th is Martin Luther King Jr. Day, so those of us that have full-time jobs, it might be hard to get another day off that week.
Yeah, the 16th is Martin Luther King. Yeah, we took that into consideration because she had the 13th and 14th available, but because of the holiday weekend, I figured most wouldn't be able to attend.
I think it would be a great investment, something different for us to do. As far as I'm on the other side, and I've seen the staff does an excellent job, and they're able to direct, to cut past a lot of stuff that we really don't need to do. But at the same time, this is a really new council. It's a marvelous opportunity to get some team building going, get some more information from that perspective. I'm available 20 and 21st. That would not be an issue for me. I know, I'm retired. But just my 2 cents.
But it's the 19th and the 21st, so there's a day in between.
But she might be able to do the 20th and 21st.
Yeah.
Yeah, this.
Would be better for me.
Yeah, and she'll know tomorrow if she can free up that day. So then that would be the 20th, 21st. Otherwise, we're looking at Thursday, Saturday.
Either way, I'm good. So
Thursday.
Thursday's tough for
I can do Saturdays, but not Thursdays or Fridays.
Okay. Well, again, the first day would be presentations mostly. So there may be some way that we could film or record those presentations to make sure that council has the opportunity to fill themselves in on those discussions for those who can't attend.
I think finding out from her if she can do, I mean, it sounds like a lot of people aren't available on that Thursday, or 3 of us aren't.
Okay.
And if it was Friday, and I don't know about Councilmember Henry, but if it could be the Friday and Saturday, then the majority of us, because Linda, you were available on Friday, right? Yeah,
It
then
would work better.
Yeah,
I'm not
then the
available.
majority of us could
Okay.
attend. I think if we're going to spend money, we need to get the most bang for our buck
Okay.
with having as many present as possible.
Okay, so Friday works. And Councilmember Norman, Friday works for you as well.
I can make it work, yeah.
Okay, Councilmember Allen.
Absolutely.
Okay. Hardegee is a no-go on a Friday.
I'm the only one in the shop.
Okay. But we'll get you a Walkman. You can listen to the recording. Councilmember Henry?
Is there an option for a one-day retreat?
Certainly, I think it'd be a lot to do in one day, but that's an option, absolutely.
And then, do we have the funds to pay for this? I don't know if it was budgeted already.
This was not budgeted. It is. I don't want to say that it's a minimal expense, because any expense is a fair amount of, it impacts something when we have to make everything balance out. Council does have a contingency, $2,000 less than we had at the beginning of the meeting, or $2,500 less.
$2,500 less.
Yeah.
Can you just make it an extremely long one day?
Yeah, we sure could.
My concern about the 2 days is there are 7 of us, and we'd be missing 1/7 for one day, and where a key component of both proposals include team building and sharing of ideas. I think it'd be important for all of us to be present if possible.
And I couldn't agree with you more, and I've never been to a retreat where all council's been present, unfortunately. But it's not uncommon for some council members to simply not be there. Yeah.
If we can do it in one day, I could do it in one day.
Okay.
I think it would be packing it in there. I think, the first half of the day would be the presentations, and we'd really have to.
You'll lose people, though. I mean, I've sat through management type presentations like that, the team building and the stuff, and by 3 o'clock in the afternoon, you're done.
Certainly, yeah. Okay. So how about I propose this? I'll see if she has Friday, Saturday open. Otherwise, we can just do one day, Saturday, and we'll just try to restructure things so that it certainly, I think, would be a long day. And there would be less opportunity to be collaborative with other agencies in the area and communities in our Verde Valley. So that would be, I think, a detriment to the whole facilitation. But why don't I contact her tomorrow, see if she's got Friday, Saturday, and
If I
City
might
clerk.
recommend, would a Saturday followed by the following Saturday work for everyone to have a 2-day?
I could do that.
If they could be 2 consecutive Saturdays?
That would work for me. I don't recall what her schedule was. I'll have to look at my email because she blocked out some time and she let me know what other date she had available. I can't recall if she had the 27th. I feel like she did.
No, that was the other one. The more expensive, that had the 2 weekends.
Okay.
So how do we handle this? I mean, do we?
I'll make a shaky motion. If somebody wants to try and second it. Okay, so just so I can kind of pick up on what everyone's saying here. So we're all in favor of hiring a professional facilitator. We're just hung up on the dates. So I'm going to see if she's available. Jeannie Duncan, I think, is the one we're looking at here. If she'd be available for the 21st and the 28th. And if she's unavailable for the 28th, then we'll just stick to a one-day event on the 21st. And that seems to work for the majority of the council. Okay.
I thought if the 21st and 28th didn't work, then we were talking the 20th and the 21st with.
Well, it sounds like Friday's not going to work for one member of the council. So, I mean, I'm fine with moving forward, even though Mr. Hodeggy won't be able to attend, if that's okay with the rest of the council.
I personally feel trying to put it all in one day, that's a lot for, especially those of us that are already doing a 40 or 50-hour work week before that.
Certainly.
So that's.
Yeah. And this is, this is going to happen once a year, for as long as we all serve. So it's really, this is our opportunity to set our goal setting, our roadmap, our policy roadmap for the year.
And in one day, it'll still be fresh if we have to do it in just one day.
Okay.
I think a week in between, a lot can happen.
Okay. So then am I hearing then Friday, Saturday? And if Friday's not available for her, so that would be the 20th, 21st. And if Friday's not available for her in her calendar, then we're just going to go ahead with the one-day event. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to formulate that into a motion. So I would move then to hire Jeannie Duncan for a 2-day council retreat. And just for the public, when I say retreat, I don't mean we're going to the Bahamas. I just mean that we'll probably do this up at the Recreation Center. This will be a public meeting. Anytime the council gathers together for any kind of discussion, there's a quorum present, public will be welcome. This will be publicized. We encourage any members of the public to come. Okay. So anyway, so I make a motion to hire Jeannie Duncan for a 2-day retreat scheduled for January 20th and 21st in the amount of $3,200.
Second.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, thank you, council. I appreciate that. Okay, so moving on. Oh, structure of city council meeting agendas. Okay. Let me get there. So, I wanted to discuss with council potentially modifying the start time of our regular meetings, which would be the first and third Tuesdays of the month, to have what would be a pre-meeting, which would be held half an hour early at 5:30. And this would be an opportunity to read proclamations, present awards, and introduce new employees.
I think that's an excellent idea.
This would allow really business to start at 6, and I think streamline our council meetings And it would still allow the public to show up if they wanted to be present, to listen to a proclamation, to support new employees, and it would be filmed as well. So,
That's my big concern.
yeah, so that the public could still participate just by watching it on television. Now, it wouldn't be live, and I've spoken with Ryan Nichols from Yavapai Broadcasting, who's the gentleman that does the filming here. It wouldn't go live at the time at 5:30, but he would film it and then replay it, the same as he does with the regular council meetings. And again, any member of the council would be welcome to show up and show support for the proclamation, and also it would kind of alleviate the sometimes awkwardness of having to rise from the dais and go down below and then shuffle back, and so it would just, I think, streamline things and still allow the public to participate. In addition to that, I'd like to, when we do go into business, to try to give an idea of how much time we're going to spend on each agenda item. Not in any way to stifle the discussion, but really just to give an opportunity for folks who may unfortunately be at the end of the agenda to know when their item might come up. Give them an opportunity to spend as much time with their family as possible, and not have to guess as to when their item might come up. So again, all this is subject to change. I wouldn't want to hold anybody to fast time, but just gives us a general guideline, and I think would make us move through the agenda efficiently. So those are my ideas. I wanted to run them by the council here and see how you all feel.
Sounds great.
I agree.
Okay.
My biggest concern was the videotaping, because I just want them to have their kudos and their face out there, when they get this. So
Absolutely.
I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm. And that was part of the discussion with Mr. Nichols, was how to make that possible.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Good for him for helping.
Okay, so is there a council member that would like to make a motion?
Does a motion need to be made?
I think so, because this would be changing code. Is that correct?
Mr. Mayor and Council, I think the thinking from staff was if you were to give us direction, we could look at what parts of the code. There is a section of the city code that talks about how agendas and meetings are ordered, and we could look to see what, if anything, there needs to be changed to reflect what you'd be doing here.
Okay.
We don't want to reinvent the wheel or tear anything up that needs to be torn up. But if you give us direction as to what you want, we could bring back whatever codification changes need to be made.
Okay, great. Then I would say, sounds like we're giving direction. Unless there's any opposed.
Feels
No.
like we got it.
Okay, all right, very good. Thank you. Okay, so moving on then, last item on the agenda for discussion is consent to assignment of tenant rights for Unit 3 of the High Five Hangars condominiums in Cottonwood Air Park from Backus Family Investments, LLC, to Tough Times Outfitters, LLC, doing business as Kestrel Aviation Services. So, who's taking this? Is this Mr. Horton?
I think my name was on this one. Yeah, these are matters that come up before the council from time to time. In this particular case, Mr. Backus created a condominium arrangement up against the fence at the airport. And what he does is the ground is still leased from the city, and the individual units are sold as condominiums. And there's a condominium plat that the council approved some years ago, and he's been marketing those units. And as they come up, and I think this is not a transfer from a transferee to another transferee. I think this is an original sale of one of the units in that complex. Since that condominium was created, we've had, there was previous mention of some FAA scrutiny, evaluation, audit of airport business leasing practices, and we've gotten some feedback and direction from the FAA. These instruments comply with the FAA's concerns with respect to this particular type of property. There were different concerns expressed as to different types of property up at the airport. I don't want to belabor that too much. But in particular, as to this development, the FAA was particularly concerned, as it has been around the state and around the country, that these types of properties be dedicated to aviation-related uses, and this use certainly complies with that.
Very good. And
I'd be happy. There's sort of a complicated process on a number of dimensions here. I'd be happy to answer any questions, but I also don't want to take up too much of the council's time.
Okay. Well, the applicant, both are here tonight. If they care to step up and make a presentation, you're more than welcome to. Please introduce yourselves.
Mayor and City Council, congratulations or condolences, whichever one you need. My name is Bob Backus. I represent the Backus Family Investments, and I would like to introduce you to Sydney Lloyd, who will be the new tenant out there, and then I would like to bring up a couple of subjects. So,
hi, my name's Sid Lloyd. Background, was in business for many years. Was director level at Hewlett Packard. After that, I ran a nonprofit foundation for about 12 years, and then kind of just took it easy for a while and decided it was time to kind of get busy again and do something. Got my pilot's license back in college. Built 3 airplanes. You guys are sitting on a gold mine with your airport. It has real potential to be an economic driver for this entire valley. What my interest is starting a small business in a new category of aircraft called light sport aircraft that the FAA has done. There's one error in the documentation that you were given, and that was that it said that we were going to be servicing and building ultralight aircraft. That's not true. Ultralight aircraft are relatively unregulated by the FAA. The aircraft we will be focusing on is regulated aircraft certificated by the FAA called light sport aircraft, and that's what we'll be doing out of this facility that we're purchasing from Mr. Backus.
Very good. Thank you.
and I would like to help you shorten your meetings. I brought this subject up 6 years ago as to the need to come to City Council to get the City Council's approval for these exchanges. There's an amendment to the lease agreement that basically says that we don't need City Council approval. We need City's approval. We need to get that approval. We need to use these forms that we're using now, the same forms that we use now. But the city manager or anybody that you appoint to do so can sign off on this as well as the mayor without coming to these city council meetings, which would shorten your meetings by this a little bit. And I brought this up several years ago, but then I found Amendment 7, which is an amendment to the lease agreement that says this is a possible way to do it. It's not like that we're trying to skirt around, not telling you what's going on out there, because if we use the same forms, the same consent forms, it's just a matter of the city manager or someone you appoint and probably your attorney to go through it to make sure that we're not trying to scoot around anything that the FAA wants us to put on these forms. But it would alleviate the need for us to come to the city council to take up your time to do it and ours, and make the transfers a little less cumbersome as far as you guys are concerned. It's going to still be cumbersome for us, but not that cumbersome, but it would just eliminate the need for us to come to the city council to do the same thing over and over and over again. So I would maybe suggest that the attorney look into that for you and see if that's something that you would pursue and something that you would like to do rather than us taking up your time at the city council. I know you have more things to do than look at these pieces of paper. And it's not, and you would still be informed of who the individuals are going to be that are going to be out there and what type of operation they're going to have or use it that's going to use on that particular area. So
I
thank you.
Appreciate your concern on that. Respectfully, we can't discuss it tonight. This is not on the agenda, but perhaps sometime in the future we could,
Just for your discussions.
Yeah.
How's that?
Yeah, and I agree. It seems like there might, well, we're not going to talk about it.
Gotcha. Don't talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. Thanks. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay, so any council members have any questions for Mr. Backus or Mr. Lloyd? Okay. Anybody care to make a motion?
I'll make a motion. I move to consent to the proposed assignment of tenant rights to unit number 3 of the I-5 Hangars condominiums in Cottonwood Air Park from Backus Family Investments, LLC, to Tough Times Outfitters, LLC, DBA Kestrel Aviation Services.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? So it passes. Thanks very much. Next is claims and adjustments.
I move we pay the claims and adjustments.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to pay the claims and adjustments. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Any opposed? So we've paid the claims and adjustments. Next item is adjournment. Can't go home unless somebody.
Move we adjourn.
Okay.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, council. Appreciate it.